So, I'm off work today, but we came in for a reason. On today's agenda, I've got this 400 case that was, all it was a mock-up case. It's not actually good. But my buddy Jared had grenaded his transmission at 52 dragway. He ended up breaking the bell housing off, and then it split from the tail shaft all the way up. So he's got another case. We're going to swap everything out. But we're tired of doing this stuff the hard way. I'm going to try to make a mount to put this on the engine stand. So if I can get that done today, you know, tomorrow he's got the Ultra Bell supposed to show up. We'll cut his new case apart, put the Ultra Bell on it. Hopefully everything goes smooth this week and we can swap his case and transmission out, get a measurement for his new drive line, which caused all this mayhem. And we'll get his back ready for this weekend to test, because we got a race at I-64 in just a few weeks and he is still untested. So we got a lot of work to do. Let's get some shit started. So if you've ever paid attention, there is a couple mount holes. See if I can focus. People use right here. So what I actually have isn't the right size, but it's what I have in, you know, on hand. There's a couple 1/2-inch bolts. It will work. So you'll get the idea here shortly. Hopefully that'll just be enough. I mean, it really should be in the bigger size. I didn't measure it. This is 1/2 inch. It's probably 5/8 or something, but I'm working with what I have. The whole idea here isn't to go buy a bunch of stuff. It's just to use. I got some leftover 2x3 material from when we built the back half of the truck. So that's what we're going to use as well. Now I want to come across the top and back down. So I need to try to figure out a measurement for that. It's looking like if I were to go, now this will be an inside measurement for what I'm wanting to do. So if we were to go 5.5, 11 on the center, and then 5.5, that'll give me a good idea. So like I said, you know, this is leftover material from building the back half of the S10. Actually, I don't think this is what I made the frame rails with. I think this is what I made the cross members with. It's 2x3, 1/8-inch thick, I believe is what it is. But my first measurement, this is all going to be inside measurements, is 5.5. From there, we're going 11. Or no, we're going 5.5 to 11. And 5.5 from there. This will be all on the inside. So 5.5, 5.5, 5.5, and then you need one more 5.5. This will be my cutoff. So let me figure out exactly what I need to cut here, and then get this back on. Okay, so change of plan. Make it a little easier on me. I remeasure. Instead of wanting my inside measurement, I want the outside measurement. I came up with 7 inches up, 10 inches, and 7 inches down. Work with this material I have. Let me squiggle these out. Then we'll go 7 inches. This is the outside bend, outside cut gunning. We know we want 10 inches across the back. So I wish I had a square with me, but I never use a square while I'm at work, so why would I have one here? And then another 7 inches. And this will be the total cutoff right here. This is all the material we need to make the transmission mount. So now we know we need to cut this off, so I'm going to make this mark and know where I need to cut it off. And as many times as I've rebuilt transmissions, I've cut holes in barrels, in the tops of 55-gallon barrels, set it in to where it will fall into about right here, hold itself. That works great, but you know, a barrel is very bulky and big. You can't just put that in the corner somewhere. This is something that I can mount to the bottom of the engine stand when I'm not using it for transmission. I could use it for, you know, the motor. And it's very small, so it's not going to take up any plate or any space. That's the whole idea here. But let me figure out exactly what I need to cut out here. I don't know if it should be a 90 or a little more, I don't know. But we'll get this figured out and then we'll come right back to you. So, after just a second of thinking, I realized I don't have a square. How do I make my life easier? So, I got an oil change sticker. I know this is a square. I fold it over to find me a center, and I do this. So I know there's my mark. Pretty sure this is gonna work. I hope anyways. So this will be what I cut out. If it's too much, I'm an idiot. But either way, I got plenty more to work with. So I'm gonna cut this out right quick and bend it over and see what we got to work with. So for all you fabricators out there, you probably just caught my mistake. The 10-inch was a inside measurement, or it was supposed to be an outside measurement. I measured, or no, yeah, it was an inside measurement, and I used it as an outside measurement, which instead of it being 10 inches wide in the middle, they put it only like 7 inches wide. That's a fat boy right there. That ain't 7 inches wide. So change your game plan on how we're going to do it. I'm not going to waste this material. I'm going to make it work. It's not that big of a deal. So instead of bending the other way and just welding up my seam, I now have it like this. As you can see, with it like this and that down here, that measurement should have been this measurement, but I am a jackass. So now I'm going to do this. I got some flat plate here, and we'll cut out here. I'm just going to weld the whole thing up and box it up, and then we'll cut her holes there and there, and then put her bolts in. Okay, this is the best I can do. Obviously, it's so hot I can't touch it to test fit it yet, but I'm gonna let this thing cool down. Then we'll try to locate the exact spot for the holes so I can weld in some nuts on this and put her through bolts. And then I will make a mount that comes off of here that will somehow mount to the engine stand. I really don't know how I'm gonna do that yet, but I'm gonna let this thing cool down. And this is as square as I can get it without using a square. And actually what I ended up doing was I just went off the lines of this, held it in place, tacked it, made sure it stayed square with this. And I mean, whatever, I guess. It isn't a proper square, but it is a square. And I mean, even if it is off, it doesn't matter for what I'm doing. But I'm gonna let it cool down, and then we'll figure out where these holes need to be. A lot of people put a bolt in the middle to try to hold this. We'll probably end up having to do something like that. Instead of putting it right in the middle, we may build a little something up here above it, depending on how I make the mount for here, however that works out. But we'll let this thing cool down, we'll get back at it. So I did jump a few steps. I didn't let you see everything I did, but I cut holes here, that way the bolts will be down deeper. Welded on the nuts, and I had to space them out a little bit on both sides. I don't know if you can see that there, but, and then just blow a hole out there. Welded a couple bolts here to mount to the stand. Now I didn't want to use these because I'm lazy and I don't like to adjust these. This is already set for an LS, and honestly, this was just the easiest way to do it, and I'm lazy. Now, I do now understand why people have their bolt here to try to keep it from moving, but that rests there, and honestly, this is pretty sweet. Me and Hunter had actually talked about taking these pieces, which I don't really think I need, but trim them down, fit in there, and make it, you know, stronger. But to be honest, I mean, I don't see this mattering much. It would look better, but oh well. So yeah, we're gonna pull this off, throw a little bit of paint on it. I'll take a couple pictures for you, and that is the transmission mount. Jared just called me, said that his Ultra Bell will be here today, so we will probably go straight to his house this evening. And I don't know if I'll put that in this video or not, but we're going to cut his bell off of his new case he's going to use and start pulling apart what he can save out of his last transmission. And like I said, hopefully this week we'll be able to have his back together, ready for at least a driveline measurement, because we have a race coming up in a few weeks and we're not missing it. So here she is, just a quick shot of paint. And this is a better idea. I mean, there's no washers on it or nothing, but this is a better view of what's going on. I figure if 4 of these bolts will hold up a entire small block Chevy loaded up, or a LS through these, then these short little bolts, 2 of them should be just fine for a transmission that weighs half of the weight or less. But you got your through bolts, 2 to hold it. That's all she wrote. And then, you know, if I wanted to, I can find a way to mount this on here, just as I did this, so I don't lose my bolts. That way I can keep up with this, but it's not a big deal.